Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, we will learn about useContext hook. UseContext is a React hook that helps to access React context in functional component. So, what is React context? React context, that is Context API, is a built-in feature of React, which helps to access and share data across components. It majorly solves issues like prop drilling. Now, let's understand what prop drilling is. Prop drilling is a situation where suppose data needs to be passed from parent component to nested child component. That is, from parent, data would be passed to component 1, then that component will pass it to component 2 and to component 3. But, component 1 and component 2 do not need that data, only component 3 needs it. So, you might be thinking, what is the issue in this approach? This will lead to code complexity, as we are passing props through a lot of levels of components. Also, it can cause performance issues, as unnecessary re-renders will happen because components which are not using those props will still re-render as parent will update with prop change. React's Context API allows to create a shared value, which can be accessible by any component, and there is no need to pass it through the props. UseContext hook lets functional component access this context directly in component, without having to pass through manually. Now, we will understand useContext with example. But, before that, let's understand syntax. Some context is the context created with create context. Value is the context value which will be used in our component. Now, we will see an example with prop drilling and then how useContext solves it. Suppose, you want to shop in an e-commerce website. And you want to add some items to wish list. Then wish list button will be inside product page. And product page will be inside product list, and product list will be called by main component. So, in prop drilling, we will have to pass login status to all components to reach it to wish list button. Because, we can add to wish list only if user is logged in. Let's see the code with prop drilling first and then with useContext. We will simulate wish list of shopping cart. We want to generate output like above. We'll ask user to log in and then product can be added to wish list. Let's see the code. We will create user and wish list state variable to save user data and to add products to wish list. Then we will create login function to store logged in user details. After that, we will create logout function to clear wish list and user details after logging out. Now, we will create add to wish list, where unique products will be added to wish list. Now, we will call header component to show header details. Later we will create it. We will pass the wish list as props to header. Now, we will call product list component. It will show product details and can add product to wish list. Later we will create it. Now, we will create header component, which will have wish list and login related props. And we will call logout button from props if user is logged in and login if user is logged out. Now, we will call wishlist icon component and pass the length of wishlist props. As you must have observed, the header component itself did not need the wishlist props. It just needed it to pass it down to wishlist icon component. Here, we have created wishlist icon component and using count, which is wishlist length props to show count of products wishlisted. Now, we are creating product list component, and here we will create product array, and also it takes wish list and add to wish list and user as props. Now, we will call product item component, which will actually use the props add to wish list and wish list. As we can notice, that product list does not use the props add to wish list and wish list. It is just passing it to product item. We will create product item component, which will use prop wish list and check if product is in wish list or not. Here, we will show the button on click of which adding or removing from wish list will be handled and product name will be displayed. Let's check output for this. First we'll click on add to wish list without logging in and pop-up shows to log in. On this pop-up we'll click OK and we'll log in. Now, we will click on login as Anita, that is username. Now, we will add items to wish list and can see the count is updated. Now, this is it for code with prop drilling. But, as you can observe in above example, header and product list components did not need the props. They just passed it down to components below. So, unnecessarily these components will get re-rendered when these props are changed, even though they are not using it, which can impact performance in bigger applications. So, let's solve this issue and check the same example with useContext. Let's use same example but with useContext. We will create app component and will call header and product list components in it and have also called two providers, which we'll create later. Here, we created auth context using create context of React with default values. Now, here we will create auth provider which we called an app component and created login, logout methods and user state variable. Now, we will return auth provider with user and login, logout props. Here, we will create wish list context with wish list related data. Now, we will create wish list provider and create wish list state variable and add to wish list method to add products to wish list. Here, we will call wish list provider with wish list related props. Just a short explanation on what auth context and auth provider does before we proceed to remaining code. Auth context is a React context object, based on Context API feature of React. It contains nothing but shared data, which can be used across components. Auth provider is a React component that will provide authentication-related data to rest of the app via authContext.provider. Now, we will create header component and will use only those context variables which are needed in header component. Unlike prop drilling approach, where we had to use wish list props in header component, just to pass to wish list icon component. And we will show login, logout button based on if user is logged in or not and call wish list icon component. As you can notice here, unlike prop drilling code, we have not passed any props down to wish list icon component, as we will call context in it. As you can see here, in wish list icon, we have called context related to wish list and using it. So, no unnecessary passing of props from header component needed. We will create product list components similar in prop drilling example. Create array of products. Now, we will show those products and will call product item component, but notice here we don't have to pass props related to wish list, like that in prop drilling case. Now, we will product item component and use contexts for wish list and user and based on that we'll check if product is wish listed or not. And here, as we did previously, we'll call alert if user is not logged in or else, we'll add product to wish list. Here, we will show the wish list button and product name. Now, let's check the output. You will notice, the output is same. After clicking on add to wish list, this pop-up will show to log in if user is not logged in initially. Once we click on login, user will be logged in. And after logging in, if we click on add to wish list button, product count will be increased and text will change to in wish list. You must be wondering why to use useContext then, when it's giving similar output to prop drilling. Here are below key points why we should use useContext. In prop drilling scenario, we pass props to components like header even when they don't need it, which leads to unnecessary re-renders of the component when prop is changed. This can be issue in performance in large applications. Readability of code is also improved, as if you have to refactor code, you need to do it only at context level and no need to pass it down to all components. Also, it helps in separation of logic, for example, auth and wish list. Thus, helps in writing cleaner code. So, use useContext in scenarios where prop drilling can be avoided and cleaner code can be implemented. So, this is it for today's video and for useContext. See you in another video with another React concept. If you want to learn something specifically, please suggest the topic in comments. Also, like this video and share it with anyone who wants to learn React. Stay tuned and happy coding.